Hey, Learn IT with Mr. P here. So this is my YouTube channel, which you've seen. I also have a companion website, learnitwithmrp.com. And I'm going to give you today a series of videos. This is tied into my building a lab using a Raspberry Pi to learn about networking and cybersecurity for under $100. So all the different pieces you're going to see here are going to be how to get the right files for the Debian desktop software, how to uncompress it, and then how to burn it to a MicroSD card, which is the bootable media for your Raspberry Pi. Hey, Learn IT with Mr. P here. So I'm going to go through the process of getting the files you're going to need to put on your Raspberry Pi. It's a Raspberry Pi 3B that I've used before for my own home networking lab. So the first thing you need to do is get the right files for that. So I'm going to go into my web browser, and I've done this before, so I'm going to click on my search bar, Raspberry Pi Debian download. I'll put the exact link in the files later. So I'm going to go to my Raspberry Pi Debian images, and you're going to see here there's what's called tested images. So these are actual files that have been done and verified by Debian distribution to be working correctly with the various Raspberry Pi devices. And you'll see here on the left hand side, it's going to tell you the build date. So these are all from around 2 years ago. Debian itself is known as being very stable, very reliable. It's not a rolling release, which means they're going to put out new versions every week or two. You're going to download the file that's appropriate for the type of hardware that you have. And you're going to see it's going to tell you what tested hardware that you have. Some of these are the same files, but I'm going to go to the one that says Raspberry Pi 3B, and it's what's called an XZ, I believe, an XZ compressed image. So it's going to download the file right now onto my hard drive. It's going to take a few minutes to do that. So I'm going to speed ahead, and I'm going to show you what you do once you get the file downloaded. On a Windows computer, you're going to have to use some sort of decompression program. I'm going to recommend 7-zip. I've used it on my Windows machines for a long time. It works very well. In the Mac and on the Linux machine, it might be something different. On the Mac machine, I'm not sure exactly what decompression utility is. BSD Linux based, so I think it'll be fine. Here on my Debian desktop, I'll share that in a moment. So as you can see on my screen, the file has been successfully uncompressed, and I'm going to show the files. And there I have my Raspberry Pi 3 bookworm image file. An image file basically allows me to take that and burn it right onto movable media. Most of you will do this with something like this, a USB stick for installation, but I'm going to put it right on the Raspberry Pi's MicroSD card, and I'm going to use a CD burner program. I'm going to recommend using a program called Bachelor Etcher. I've used it in both Mac, Windows, and also on Linux boxes. It's the same program essentially for all three platforms. It's worked very well for me. I'll show you that in a second. So I'm ready to do the burning process. I'm taking my image file, which I downloaded, decompressed, put on my computer. I'm now using the program called Bachelor Etcher. And what I've done is I've taken my little MicroSD card from my Raspberry Pi, which fits into the little memory slot here on the base of it. You can see here to the camera. And I placed it into this little USB burner or USB holder. I'm going to stick it onto my computer right now. Hopefully I can figure this out. And I'm going to select, all right, it's in there. I'm going to flash from a file. So I'm going to do this right now. Flash from the file. And I have my Raspberry Pi bookworm file. My image file is compressed. There it is. Click, double click. And then I'm going to select the target. That's that little USB memory stick I just stuck in there. And there it is, generic storage for boot. And I select it. And I'm going to flash it. This takes about 2 minutes. It needs me to give me my sudo password, which I'll do that right now. Hopefully I remembered that. Oops, click on that. Remember, with Linux systems, you're almost always going to have to give it a password that is your root password or your admin password. And when you type it in, it doesn't show up on the screen. A lot of people freak out about that. It's not echoing because you don't have anybody looking over your shoulder and actually seeing what you're typing in. So this takes about a minute or two. It's going to flash it or write the memory, write the disk image to the disk onto the USB drive, which is actually the MicroSD card, and then it does a verification step. And this program, the Balena Etcher, I've used it on both Mac and Windows computers. It's very reliable. Seems to work very well for this particular process. Recommend it. No charge for anything like this. It's free software. So I'm going to let this run, and I'll come back to the next step. Yay, success. My flash is complete. It verified it. I can then remove the disk from my computer, stick it back inside the Raspberry Pi, right inside the memory stick slot for the Raspberry Pi. Turn it on, and it should boot up right into Debian. Now, I will caution you, because the version that was built on the website is from 2023, I believe. Once you have it installed, once you have it up and running, you're going to have to do some updates, and I'll show you how to do that in another video. So again, getting this is pretty simple. Get the right file from the website. I did this one with Debian, but you can do the same thing with other distributions, whether it's Arch or Ubuntu or whatever. Similar status. In this particular case, I had to uncompress the file. I used the built-in program that came with my Debian desktop here. Again, you can use different versions. If you're running Windows, I suggest you use something like 7-Zip, which is free software, works very well. I've tested this with my Lenovo laptop, which runs Windows 11. Then I use this Balena Etcher program to write the image onto the USB drive, which contains the microSD card, stick it into my Raspberry Pi, and I'm good to go. So again, like and subscribe. I hope you find this stuff interesting, and I hope that this tutorial gives you all the steps you need to do to become an IT professional in your own home with a little lab that costs less than $100.